destroyed, right, is the land of America, which we know in the scriptures as Babylon, man. Right, let me get some scriptures talking about them elements melting the earth. Now, this is going to be in the book of 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter. All right, I'll go straight to the point today. All right, but the whole thing is good. 2 Peter is the 3rd chapter, and start from the 10th verse. It says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. All right, so just like how people just relaxing and all of that, man. It's a good old nice day and that, man. People, you know, get beer and get your woman and all of that, man. Right, or you might take the kids out to the park and that, man. Just like how you're living through that, just like how you're existing in that fashion, man. Right, that's when the Lord. In fact, the scripture says, when they shall think themselves in good case. Right, when they shall think them in good case, that's when he was going to return, man. So the Lord's going to come as a thief in the night, man. You don't know when the thief in the night's going to come. And this is one of my favorite scriptures because it tells you that you're supposed to be hastening the day. It tells you that you don't know what's going to be popping off, right? Furthermore, it tells you, it goes to show you that the Lord can come at any moment, man, at any minute, man. All right? It says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall melt with a fervent, furthermore, it says, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with a fervent heat, right? And that's not, that, one that's talking about the skies, right? Because you're going to have that big mushroom cloud, right? That's going to come all over these different places. But ultimately, man, the heavens, right, is where these Edomites dwell, man, in them high raised buildings, man. 100-story buildings, and they got the penthouse over there, or all of that, man. So that's gonna melt away. That's gonna be reduced to rubble, man. All right, and I'm gonna show you that in the book of quickly show you that in the book of Isaiah, the 24th chapter on down. See, the Isaiah, the 24th chapter shows you, man, right? The earth is gonna rule to and fro like a drunkard, right? The earth is gonna be utterly broken. All of that, man. And that's all prophecies in the scriptures. But see, back in the day, man, you wasn't gonna have it to where that was gonna happen because you didn't have that kind of force. Now, could the Most High do it? Of course the Most High could do it, all right? But right now we got it to where you got the instruments of death out there in the ambient, man. Right? You got the instruments of death out there, man, to where the Most High could have that happen at any minute, man. At any moment, any second, hell, it could be happening right now, man. All right, now ultimately, there's certain prophecies are gonna be fulfilled. The chip, right? Martial law, right? All of that, the breaking of the breaking down of the financial structure and all of that, right? That's all gonna take place, right? That all has it's gonna happen in its season, all right? But ultimately, man, you got it to where this thing could pop off at any minute, man. The thing, the situation that you got down there in Syria, man. Then you got it to where you got and I did a video on it, man. Wasp and shit, man. Right, you got it to where you got the Syrians out there, all right. The situation in Syria, and you got and that was all set up, man. All right, because the people that are so-called ISIS and all of that, those are covert, they're covert American agents, man. They all they are is they're contractors, man. If you watch the movie Batman, right, and you had the guy Bane, and he had his army. But he was paying his army, they had no true allegiance to him. That's what you call, I forget the exact word, man. I forget the exact word. You call them a mercenary, man. Well, that's what you got out there in Syria. You got mercenaries, man. Right, assassins, people that do what they work to do, right? Is to kill people, man. Right, and whose agenda is it really, man? It's their true agenda, the true people that are really executing their plan through those mercenaries, right? The so-called elite banking families, right, which are based out there in America, right, and England, man. See, they're the ones that are perpetuating a situation that you got out there in Syria, man. They're the ones that benefit from the situation that you got out there in Syria, because what can they do for their covert mercenaries, man? What they could do is they could go up into they could have a situation to where they have to go into that country, man. And once they set up bases within Syria and all of that, man, then you got the situation that will pop off ultimately with Russia, because Russia's got certain allegiances with Syria, right? But ultimately, it's the allegiances that Russia and Iran hold that's going to be the key in the coming down of this kingdom. Now, the most likely to have it to where no, man. You see, that's why the scripture says you're going to be on point. See, a nigga will wait for these. Will try to wait for these precepts, these prophecies to get him on point, which, you know, we don't know what the Most High is going to do, but ultimately the Most High stands by his word, so you're going to see it to where these prophecies going to pop off. But if I call your attention to a point in history, right, when the Most High said Egypt was going to last a certain period of time, but there was so much wickedness happening in Egypt that the Most High destroyed prior to that time, man. So the Most High could have it to where this thing can happen at any minute, man. See, with all kind of wickedness that's happening in this society, with the legislations being passed for these, you know, with these, you know, rainbow guys, right, to make it, you know, a PC for you guys out there with the emotions, right? With all of that kind of legislation being passed, right, with all the, you know, the madness that's going on with this earth and the complete breaking down of the social morale, the Most High can have it to have all these things that are spoken about in the scriptures, man. They can happen at any moment, man, at any instant, man. All right. Now this is in the book of back in 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter and the 10th verse. It says, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, right, in the which the heavens shall melt." Right, brother, mother, the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with a fervent heat. Right, and it says, the earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. So everything that you have, everything that you see out here, all this so-called nice stuff, man. You know, people take the kids out and go see the pretty buildings. Ain't gonna be like that. In fact, the scripture says, the destruction of America is gonna be left as a monument. Right, it's gonna be left as a monument to show you what will happen if you go. Obviously, now 12 tribes of Israel, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, going to have the laws, right, written within their hearts, and that's spoken about in the book of Hebrews, the 8th chapter, and Ezekiel, the 37th chapter. All right, where we're going to be just perpetually doing, right. All right, but America, when it's destroyed, man, it's going to be left as a monument. And that's, you can see that in the book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter, right on at the bottom. You can see, it tells you the satyrs and the dragons is going to dwell there. All right. So ultimately, man, that country is gonna be left, as the scripture says here, it's gonna, the elements are gonna melt, the dust is gonna burn up, and he's gonna just leave it there so people can say, damn, man, the Most High was truly angry in that day. But see, you're gonna see the Most High happy after that, because why? We're gonna have the Lord, statutes, commandments within our hearts. We're gonna do right, man, and through us doing right, all right, we're gonna be right, and with being right with our power, we're gonna dwell, man. We're gonna have complete rest, man. All right. Says, seeing that then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye ought to be in a holy conversation and godliness. And I always read this, man. This is my favorite, one of my favorite scriptures, because I mean, you got all kind of stuff within your life, and you forget your focus, your principal agenda, so to speak, the purpose to which you was made. You got all of these guys, what was the purpose of life, and all of that. That's clear cut in the scriptures. You go to the book of Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. It says, here's the conclusion of the whole matter, right? The whole conclusion of the law, all of this. Here's the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High, right? Why? Because through the fear of the Most High is the beginning of understanding, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man. Understanding that, look, anything in my life could be happening right now, but we know this thing's about to pop off, man. So I gotta do what I have to do to make sure if it does pop off at any minute, at any second, like it says, as a thief in the night, right, that I'm gonna be 100 with the Most High. Because when you go into the book of Revelations, it says, and these were a day of which they was found no guile, right, no lies, right, and it says in Revelations, the 2nd chapter on the 21st verse, that which you have already hold fast until I come, right. And ultimately it goes on to say, you know, in different places within the scriptures, man, right, talks about being found doing the work, man, right, because you got different guys, right, on a completely different agenda, right, in other words, themselves, right, and I might jump into that in the book of Job, man, people that go after their own lusts, man, live after the desires of their own heart, right, which, look, man, we're men, all right. Right, we gonna be, you know, we're gonna be drawn to certain things, but guess what, man? Satan's, right, the spiritual demon, Satan's gonna go after them lusts, man. Right? He's gonna go after your desires, the desires of your heart, and that's what's gonna make you fall off, man. To where he can have it to where his counterpart, his physical form, right, which is Esau, is gonna come and give you certain offers, man. And that's why the elders always say certain guys are sold out, because what they speak, right, and how they're living, right, that is not likened unto the scriptures, man. All right, because they walk after their own lust, and you know, Esau has paid them off to do so, man. He's giving them the treats, the desires, right, of their hearts, man. right, to go off. Right now, I can only pray that the Most High doesn't put me in a situation like that, but even more so, that I don't sell out, man. All right? Now, let me get back into the scriptures. It says, looking for and hasting unto the coming of day of the Most High, wherein the heavens being on fire, right, shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with a fervent heat. Right? It says, but nevertheless, we, according to his promise, right, when you read into the scriptures, right, you see all the kind of promises the Most High has spoken about in the book of, you know, pretty much throughout the scriptures. The whole scriptures, man, is good news for the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, bad news for everybody else. That's you know what I mean, man. That's all you need to know if you was one of these different nations, man. Right? You got this whole kerfuffle about whether Cornelius was an Israelite and whether he was an Edomite and all of that, man. He was a Jake, man. Right? The Most High ain't dealing with the other nations, man. That's a clarity within the scriptures, man. That's a consistent thing. Doth not the scriptures say the Most High is the same today as he is tomorrow, and so on and so forth, man? You're gonna have it to where Esau's gonna do all of this wickedness, right? Done raped, robbed, and murdered everybody on the face of the planet Earth, man. But more so, you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, right? And it's the same Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans that want to save one Edomite and his household, to which you can bring back the whole nation of Edomite with just one, the whole nation of these Edomites with just one Edomite, man. Right? That's completely off, man. That doesn't tie in with the scriptures in any way, shape, or form. All right, that's out. All right, that's garbage, man. You can throw that with the, you can throw that in the toilet next to the nappies, man. All right. Let me get back into this. I quoted the book of Isaiah, the 24th chapter. Right, and I'm not gonna read the whole thing. All right, I'll jump about, man, because the whole book of Isaiah, the 24th chapter, is nothing but like you watch a movie, man. All right, and you're watching a movie, and you know you see different things happening. This, you know, at different times and all of that. Basically, use your imagination when you read the scripture, and you should remember some of the movies that you see Esau be pushing out there, right? With them post-apocalyptic films that he pushes out there, right? This is, you know, pretty much Isaiah, the 24th chapter. There's no, you know, it's all prophecy, but there's no real, you know, meat per se that needs breaking down, man. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the whole thing is good. You can read it, man. All right, this is Isaiah, the 24th chapter, and I'm going to start at the first verse. And like I said, I'll jump about. It says, behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, right, and scatter earth abroad the inhabitants. Right. Now let me jump down again. I'll say 6 verses good. Right. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth. And what's the curse that's going to devour the earth? Those ICBM missiles. Because you can go into the book of Zechariah, the 14th chapter and the 12th verse. It says, this shall be the curse wherewith the whole earth. This shall be the plague wherewith the whole earth. Right. Let me get it out, man. I ain't put that in a minute. This is Zechariah, the 14th chapter. Right, this is Zechariah, the 14th chapter and the 12th verse. Right, it says, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that are fought against Jerusalem. Right, it's going to be the plague, right, the curse, if you will. Because what happens when the scriptures talk about curses? What's synonymous with curses within the scriptures? What's synonymous with curses within this? Rather more plagues and curses are synonymous with each other. Right? The Most High sends forth a curse, a plague, right? It's all the same thing, one in the same genre, so to speak. All right? This is the book of, back in the book of Zechariah, the 14th chapter and the 12th verse. And this shall be the plague, we can have curse there if you wanted to, wherewith the Lord will smite all the people, right, that are fought against Jerusalem, right? And their flesh shall consume away whilst they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away whilst their tongues shall consume away in their mouths, man. And what's the means by which that's gonna happen, right? You gotta in the Middle East right now. You got what you know as an arms race, all right? You got an arms race, the race to obtain nuclear authority, man. All right, wherewith all of these different nations are trying to acquire, right? What you know as nuclear weapons, thermonuclear weapons, right? So they can have the upper hand against their enemies, right? But then they're not going to use it against their immediate enemies. For instance, you got Israel out there, and I always touch on this, man. But look, man, the scripture goes to show you what manner of speech we was gonna be. We're gonna be repeating certain things over and over again until you get it. Cause Jake, you Negroes, Hispanics, they make us some hard-headed people, man. All right, within the scriptures, it's all the same as all, man. Destruction, salvation for Israel. Destruction, salvation for Israel. It's all in the same thing, man. You gotta repeat it until you breathe it, man. All right, but like I say all the time, man, you got it out there in within the so-called Middle East, right there, you got the land of Israel, right there, right? Which it's supposed to be, which we know the people that are in there are imposters, but that's supposed to be some holy land, and they got the when they was gonna go back and was it the scripture says when we was gonna go back in there in the book of Isaiah, the 36th chapter, we was gonna go back into the land of Israel, right? We was gonna go back, all of us, all right? But out there in the land of Israel, it's not all of them, man. You ask them where's Benjamin, they won't tell you. Ask them where Issachar is, they won't know, man. Right? They'll say they're lost somewhere, but see, through the prophecies and that, the elders have been having to where they broke it down to where who's who and what's what, man. All right, that was just one point. But the point I was making, the reason, and which I make regularly, reason why you got Israel out there, really, all right, by way of the Balfour Declaration, all right, you got them out there as a military presence within the Middle East. That's the only reason you got it. And that perpetuated what you have now is a nuclear weapons arms race. Now you got Iran wants their nukes. You got it to where Syria wants all of these different countries want to obtain weapons of so-called mass destruction, man. That's why they rolled up into the Iraq and all of that. Cause what? Cause the Iraqis, right, were probably trying to get those weapons of mass destruction. Why? Because they got the bloody rats out there, right? The unstable rats out there, them so-called Jews, right? And them so-called Jews are, as small as the remnant that they are, them rats, right? They got all kind of nuclear weapons up in there, man. So you got to, so that was always gonna happen, man. That was always gonna happen. But see, they're gonna use them, right? And they're gonna have it to where this prophecy is gonna be fulfilled, man. To where, like it said, the scripture says here, and it shall be the plague wherewith the people, rathermore the Lord, will smite all the people that are fought against Jerusalem, and their flesh shall consume away whilst they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongues shall consume away within their mouths. All right, so you're gonna dissolve, in other words. All right, so you can understand, you're gonna disintegrate. All right, and you don't have to be imaginative to know what I'm talking about when I say disintegrate, man. Well, you seen it in these movies, man. East will be showing you in these movies what's coming to the future, man. Man, you ain't gonna be like back in the day. You're going back 40, 20, 20, 30, more, really 20 years ago, 30 years ago. All right, you didn't have an information age like you got it out here right now, man. Information wasn't so readily accessible, right? You got it out there, man. I could pull up. You got every day you walk with a computer in your face, and you telling me you can't see this place is gonna be destroyed, man. Right? You got access to like literally dozens and not even dozens, man, millions upon millions of articles. Right? Doesn't that show you how dumbed down these people are, man? Where you got instant access to it. Instant access to it. That's notwithstanding you go into a bloody news agent, right? You go to a news outlet, right? Or any kind of store outlet, you go out there, man. You go into any one of these places, they always got the articles and different newspapers and all of that you can buy. But you don't even need to buy them, man. Man, you can download apps to where the apps update you, man. You don't even have to go out and search the information out here, man. But still, you tell these people that their society is gonna be destroyed. They look at you like you're crazy, man. But on their phones, or they got the BBC app, whether they got the Press TV app, whether they got the Al Jazeera app, it's telling you about all kind of wars happening out there within the Middle East, man. Right, and those wars are spreading out, and the Syria thing, right, which is that's like the beginning of those wars spreading out onto the so-called Western world, man. All right, that's just the beginning, right, of the beginning of your ending, man. All right, to quote a Mobb Deep song, man. All right, that's the beginning of your ending, man. All right. get back into the scriptures right quick. This is back in Isaiah the 24th chapter, right? 10th verse is good. It says, the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in, right? Go to the 12th verse. In the cities there is left desolation, right? The gates is smitten with destruction. Go to another verse. Like I said, man, the whole thing is good. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's just, there's all kind of scriptures I could be getting into where, you read this, you don't really need this breaking down, right? This is the good one, the 19th verse. The earth is utterly broken down, right? And this goes in with what I was touching on, and it will touch on what I was speaking about in the book of Mark, 13th chapter. It touches on 2 Peter, the third chapter on down. All right? It says here, the earth is utterly broken down, clean dissolved, man. Right? The earth is exceedingly moved, right? It says the earth shall rule to and fro. Excuse me. All right? The earth shall rule to and fro, right, like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again, man. And does that mean the earth, you got some asshole out here who probably think, oh, the earth, that means the earth is gonna end, right? And then we'll run with that and we'll make up some dumb shit, make up some stupid thing, man, right? Now have it to where he's gonna be thinking, man, wait, what's up, man? Hey, where you from, man? Angola, yeah? You're an Israelite, you know that, right? You know about the Israelites? You believe in God? You believe in God, all right, man. You're one of the descendants, right? Or you go to the church and that? All right, don't waste your time with that, all right? Don't waste your time with that, all right? The knowledge, the scripture says the knowledge was going to be in the streets. We go into the book of Proverbs, the 1st chapter on the 25th verse. It says, wisdom shall be cried forth, cries in the chief places of concourse. There's a chief places of concourse out here. You know what wisdom